Händel, we can say that was one of the most fully European composers of his time, because he was born in Germany, but he was educated, or he learned especially the operatic, but also the instrumental and many of his style he learned in Italy with his Italian masters. But then he made the summon of his career, where he really became a very important composer. That was happening in London, in England. So he mastered really all the techniques from at least those three countries, because he even also wrote a lot of French style overtures. So he was also very acquainted with the French style of writing music. He made the peak of his career in London, and there he worked also with the top international singers of the time. One we could mention as an example is Francesca Cuzzoni, which was one of the biggest stars at that time. And it's interesting to mention that the singers back then were much more important than the composers. Cuzzoni would earn more than 20 times more than Händel in one single night. And basically the composers were what I would define as the dress designer of the singer. So the composers were like writing the best music so that the singers could shine. And that was what it was expected from them. But a few composers, like I could say Händel, or later Mozart, or later Verdi maybe in opera, were able to combine serving the singer in what the singer needed to shine, but also to integrate that into a great dramatic and dramaturgical structure. So also in London, Händel was also an entrepreneur, so he also produced his own operas. And it was interesting to see that basically the same singers sang often in the oratorio and in the opera seria. So he was fully aware of the dramatic potential of both genres, and they are often interchanged. So that's why we are also using a lot of the oratorio music, accompagnatori recitativi and this kind of stuff, integrated into our dramaturgical line, which will mainly come from the opera seria, but has also the other influences. When people come to the opera circus, and maybe some opera lovers are familiar with some of the Händel operas, they will recognize some of the arias, like the famous A mio cor from Alcina, or the mad scene from Orlando. But they will also be surprised by pieces which are very rarely heard. Like we have chosen parts from the opera Arminio, for instance, or Ezio or Hercules, which are really lesser known, and actually they have really, really dramatic and fantastic music.